intolerable. All right, this is part 2. Sorry, my phone cut out. But, yo, so check it out. You got this book. We're dropping it. Check out part 1 because I'm just going to keep going. So, we're on this page. I'll give this to you again. Pause it and read it. It's nothing but fire. Fire when you start decoding the stuff that they're leaving in the bathwater, man. Nothing but that dry. You know, of course, they got their hijack, but once you got they hijack just in a nice little noogie. Right now we got they hijack in a noogie. They can't get out of it. They can't prove the way out of it. They can't talk the way out of it. All that little bullshit is right here. We're just giving it a nice little Uncle Noogie. You know, your uncle comes over like, yeah, get some of that. I just gave my boy, go to sleep, man. All right. We got the illusion like this right now. It's body bag. We just got one of them chokes. You know, we got that full, we just choking the ass out. That's what's happening, all right? So, I'm going to get this part again. The Indians were strongly marked with national peculiarities. The most striking characteristic of the race was a certain sense of personal independence. They're talking about the Negro. You are personally independent. That's who you are by nature. Oh, I just want to get my job, get my 401k, then I pay my taxes. By nature, you are personally independent. They are writing about you. We just read up here, it says, such is a brief sketch of the distribution of the copper-colored race in the New World. Copper color. They're talking about you. And what's your characteristics? Personal independence. Then they say willfulness of action, that you are willing to act. Not march, act for freedom, for your land. And then it says freedom from restraint. So your 3 characteristics. It says the Indians were strongly marked with national peculiarities. The most striking characteristic of the race was a certain sense of personal independence, willfulness of action, and freedom from restraint. This is written, man, in 1874. Published in 1874. Aboriginal Times. Popular History, United States. All right. You built this. This is what you build. This is one of your palettes, but you look at Montezuma's stuff, it looks just like that. And this is the book we're in by J.C. Rippeth. Now, I'm going to get the rest of this, and then we're going to do our July roll call. Let's go. So your characteristics are your personal independence, your willfulness to act, meaning get the hell out, migrate, go. Freedom from restraint. You don't like to be held down or you don't like to be slaved. But now you forgot that you're even a slave. But you have no land, no resources. But you're not a slave? No, you're just a good person with no land and no resources and don't know their history. That's not being a slave. You just want to go to the club, ball out, and get some money. Have you read about what's backing this dollar? What's about to be backing another currency? All right, so to the red man's imagination, the idea of a civil authority, which should subordinate his passions, curb his will, and thwart his purposes was intolerable. We looked up intolerable when we get unendurable. It can't be endured. Your ancestors couldn't endure this. This is something that they could not endure, being slaves. That's why it's a horrible thing. That's why they had to kill 95% of us. Another book said 95 out of every 100 Mayans were killed. Then it said the Negroes almost made extinct because 95 out of every 100 Negroes were killed. It's the same people. What happened to the people of Easter Island? They are extinct. They were destroyed by the same invaders at the same time. These people started destroying all natural things. How can you be natural and destroy nature? It's not just about land and money. It's about destroying nature, because nature is always going to be on the side of her children. And Heya is always going to be the energy into his children. That's our balance. Among this people, no common enterprise was possible unless made so by the concurrent of free will. So among our people, free will brought us together. If the chieftain entered the warpath, his kinsmen and the braves of other tribes followed him because they chose his leadership. He wasn't forcing them and subduing them. It says, if the chieftain entered the warpath, his kinsmen, and the braves of other tribes followed him only because they chose his leadership. His authority and right of command extended no further than to be foremost in danger, most cunning in savage strategy, bravest in battle. So his authority only extended to the point of being no further than being foremost in danger, most cunning in savage strategy, bravest in battle. They followed him because he was the bravest. They didn't have to. They said, man, I'm going this way. And we understand that ruach, that energy, you know what I'm saying? It's not just about, oh, you know, this dude's a killer. I'm following this killer over here. You know what I'm saying? It's where he's going. The cunningness, the understanding. They understood that however, whatever was with him must be beyond. That they see him in battle and they see something beyond. So they say whatever way he's going got to lead us there. And that's how they understood who their chiefs were. But now we just elect a president. So of all the relations of Indian life, the medicine man was a self-constituted physician and prophet. No man gave him his authority. No man took it away. He did what he did. He dropped it because it was the right thing. If it wasn't, they would let him know. Trust me. His right was his own, and his influence depended upon himself and the voluntary respect of the nation. Voluntary, free will. In the solemn debates of the council house, where the red orators pronounced their wild harangues to groups of motionless listeners, only questions of expediency were decided. The painting sachems, here we go, the painted sachems, look at this word, and look at that Lex Will drop where, let us find the truth, Lex Will, they talking about this word right here, sachem, Shashims. We just talked about the chiefdom. Now we're talking about the Sheshems, right? The chiefs. The painted Sheshems never thought of imposing on the unwilling minority the decision which had been reached in council. So they never said, I'm going to impose this on anybody that wasn't down for it. You go your own way. Right now he's like, go to Utah. You don't want to go to Utah? Go to Utah. No one is going to say, we're going to subdue you into going to the four corners. Nice. If it makes sense to you, go. You see, it's not just a physical battle. What do we understand? This is a battle of frequency, energy, and vibration. So how you really take this in, so you're not just thinking about being a savage and saying, I'm following this person. I seen him in battle. He kills everybody. It must be the right thing. That's like a two-dimensional way, right? But understanding frequency, we say, I'm following this vibration. In this vibrational war, I see this sword is cutting everything clean. Therefore, this sword must be Heya. And therefore, he who is throwing this sword must be someone that, might have to drop in surfing this wave. I might want to surf alongside for my own, habitat, for my own energy, for my own, because it makes sense. Because it makes sense for my family. But it's not an unwilling thing. You disagree, don't come here talking about this, and this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, look, surf the wave or not. It's cool to discuss. But, man, some people come here thinking that they got to just try to... You ain't going to prove gravity, so don't talk about the flat drop. You're not going to tell us that these copper-colored races are not us today. Well, who are they? Okay, you're not going to tell us, that our Torah, you know, although it's been slash this and that, we know our commandments are in stone. So we can all connect whatever we connect to the Torah, to the stone, to the migration patterns, to the cliches. Now we're getting the drop. You can't take that away. There's nothing you can do. You can't tell us that we're not energy and that we don't need to choose up. So when we have this as our foundation, what are you trying to tear down? You trying to tell us we're not energy and that we should not be vibrationally aware? You're trying to tell us that this is not our land? You're trying to tell us what? That we're not the seed of the Creator? What are you trying to say? That's why I drop people off. Because if you're trying to say these things without putting out your own documentation or information, do whatever the case is, or send somebody a private inbox saying, look, man, you know, I appreciate this, but here's how I feel. If you're not humble, if you're static, you're static. Some people might be like, what did I say? What did I say? It's just an energy thing. Sometimes I just feel static and I just drop it off. So, you know, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But, you know, I protect my peoples. This is what I got. This is where we're at. All right, come sit along, be a fly on the wall. But discipline yourself to get the job. If you agree with 99 things, don't focus on that one thing. And the one comment you leave is disagreeing with that 1%. That's not respectful. That means you need to go back and research, and maybe that 1% might be clear, or maybe I'm wrong about 99%. But what are you getting from this? Is that 1% we're right about? Is that leading to your freedom? Then focus on that 1%. You see? That's how you work this. That's how you ride and surf the wave. So I just wanted to get that. Another brother sent me this link. I'll get it on the roll call. It's a beautiful sun. I like when the sky's that color, man. You know, let's check it out for a second. Beautiful thing, right? Oh. Get with it or get left on. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Where we at? You know, hey, say la. Let's take a say la. Okay, here we go. Same book. He just sent me a PDF. This might be a different version of it because the pages don't exactly match the one I have. But whatever page this is and this one, this page is interesting. This is page 35 in his book or his PDF. I will attach it underneath so you have the PDF. Check it out. Now, we dropped about the Mayas teaching, you know, being called the master teachers of those that are in Egypt or in Kemet. As we know, Egypt was here first, then went to Kemet in the 18th dynasty, man. So why were they here first? Why are these pyramids dated older than those? Why did he just kick that these, no doubt, that these are the oldest inhabitants in this land, if this is a new world? Or are they lying again, flipping everything on its belly and back again, letting you not know that you are standing in the land that you've always owned? And they don't even have to take you out of it to consciously make you think you came from across the water, so that they take your resources while you're talking about going back somewhere that you aren't from. Now, all us Negroes go back to Africa, what happens to the resources of the copper-colored people? What has already happened because you think you come from somewhere else. You're not fighting for this. You don't know what they're digging up. You don't know about all these gold mines. You don't know why they got 770 million acres in a trust. That the feds and the state are fighting over a trust of 770 million acres. You don't know why they were giving away acres to people to come here to take it over, same way they did in South America and Brazil. They just gave land away, right? So now I'm saying this is the old world. This book is also saying this is the old world. And this is off the PDF, page 35. I'll put it on the screen first, so you can pause it and read it. Here we go. Such was the condition of the human mind with regard to our planet during the Middle Ages. Meanwhile, nature herself began to to be revealed without the purpose and conceit of man. So man out the way, nature's going to tell you what the drop is, or the creator's going to tell you what the drop is. The Western Hemisphere here is no doubt as old and perhaps older than Europe. Well, we know Europe is Asia, right? And we know Asia is Africa, right? Right? Okay. So the Western Hemisphere is no doubt as old or older, no doubt as old and perhaps older than the Eastern. It is probable that the two Americas came out of the primeval waters at an earlier period in geological history than did the western parts of Europe or Asia. It is also possible that the aboriginal races of our world are ethnically considered a more ancient people than those of the European continent or their world. So they're saying these aboriginals are older than those aboriginals. Now you got the Tigler Pilgrims, you got the Shalamanassa, you got the Genghis Khan switcheroos, you got them putting people all over the place. All these African people are in Africa, but they ain't formed no union because they have all been placed in certain areas, and you know it's all recent. So you know it's all, this is recent shit. But they're coming originally out of Asia themselves, which is why the brothers was dropping at the Kemet versus Egypt debate a long time ago. The brothers from Africa, Lotus brothers came out and said, look, man, the Metanetta, here's the proof. Go back, y'all. Just check out this, you know, lecture, man, these brothers did showing the Semitic origins or Shemitic origins of the Metanetta. No one refuted it. Everyone just ignores it. Now you're getting understanding why. When the Mayans are being, you know, now clearly seen on the walls in Kemet with Mayan art, and you're understanding that they got their knowledge from the West, because the West is really the, come on, we can do it, y'all. We know these people lied to us. We know they flipped it. The West is really the East. And the East is really the West. And you come from where the sun rises. You come from the East. And the East is really the, they call it the West now. So the Western Hemisphere is really the East. You come from the East. You're from here. I'll get this back. The Western Hemisphere is no doubt as old and perhaps older than the Eastern. It is probable that the two Americas came out of the primeval waters at an earlier period in geological history than did the western parts of Europe. It is also probable that the aboriginal races of our world are ethnically considered a more ancient people than those of the European continent or Asia. There are evidences that a great land bridge formerly joined Greenland with Labrador, making easy the passage for human beings from the one country to the other. In this way, it is possible that there may have been a very early period, a community of inhabitants between the northern parts of Europe and the subpolar regions of North America. And he goes into it. You got the link, go in and click on it. You go in and click on it. So that just goes along with, you know, it all starts here, which is why it all makes sense. Everything's older here. The largest pyramids are here. The oldest pyramids are here. This land is being dated prior. So we popped up first. Even in Thoth, his emerald tablets talk about us popping up first. And then when Atlantis was sunk, or Egypt was sunk, or that which we are calling Egypt was sunk, then they went to the Cometians. Then they went and put that same vibration on the indigenous people there. And he said these people came at him with spears, and he put a vibration on them with his staff, and they hoarded at his feet. And he confused them with magic sciences. That's in your tablet, tablet 8. Tablet 1 and tablet 8. Check those both out. Hiram Art dropped this a while back. Dr. Radine Ame'rica. And you got a lot of drop on it. I definitely say, you know, get the babies out the bathwater. You know, it's like, it's all good. You know, we understand, That this is what the Thoth Emerald tablets is talking about in tablet 8. How, he had to circle, circle the angles from the angels of the barrier. He said once you got too close to the barrier, you're trying to get back into your body from the celestial or the underworld because it's underneath the firmament. You go all the way back to your body. You got to do circular angles or do circular patterns that have no angles. Only the best of them can do that. Even the dweller has a hard time outrunning the angels of the barrier, which means what? Lucifer ain't allowed beyond a certain point. So these are the fallen ones. Alright, everything's corroborating with the Sumerian tablets. Let Us Find the Truth got the drop on that. Lex Will got the drop on that. And once they got back to their bodies, it said they had to hold up the cross with the circle and breathe through it some vibration or some words or some sound. And at last, this was their last defense. Or the angels of the barrier of the firmament, if they got them, they would hold them to Judgment Day. Now she put a flower on it, she put a feather on it. Make it nice and pretty. But this is the science of it. Now they got their sciences from where? From the west or the east. But Egypt was here first. So it makes sense to see this Egyptian thing here first, because that's where they got it from, over there. Again, the Western Hemisphere is no doubt as old and perhaps older than the Eastern. It is probable that the two Americas came out of the primeval waters at an earlier period in geological history than did the western parts of Europe. It is also possible that the aboriginal races of our world, here in America, are ethnically considered a more ancient people than those of the European continent, or which is really Asia. But you came from Asia. Right. You always migrated back to your land. The Mayans and the cliches always were coming back home. This is their home. Your home. Martin Luther King said the Negro finds himself in captivity on his own land. On his own land. On his own land. So, definitely got the babies in there, King, so I appreciate you for, and yeah, keep dropping it, man. Shit, we're dropping all kind of books. You know what I'm saying? You can't stop somebody from sharing information. Oh, make everybody buy my book. Well, that's going to make people stop buying your book. But I bought it. I bought your book. And I'm sharing your book. I bought this book and I'm sharing it. What, the publisher's going to come at me and say, don't share it? Because somebody might not buy it. The only reason I bought this book is because Hiram R kicked it. And because he shared it is why I bought it. If y'all don't know Hiram R, you know what I'm saying, he bought this joint. She got in contact with him and said, oh, don't share my book, because then people won't buy it. Like, don't tell the people about what's in here. Don't share the information even in the last days, because I want my money from the people. Don't give it away as if he's going to read this thing from cover to cover and we're going to take all facsimiles and just get PDFs and that's it. I bought your book only because the brother shared it. It ain't about the money, it's about the information. I drop a book, I'm also dropping the PDF. As soon as there's one. Alright? And I got a book coming. I ain't want to tell nobody yet. But yeah. I'm a writer first. People don't know it, but that's my background. I'm a writer first. So yeah. I'm dropping, you know what I'm saying? You buy the book if you want to. You read the PDF. Somebody, some poor kid somewhere might not have 10, 15 bucks for a book. You know what I'm saying? So he might, just need to get the drop. I don't make people wait to get this information that we dropping. We don't make people wait. We ain't charging people for this. We ain't doing debates and seminars and charging people to come get it. We saying, man, we know this is an information superhighway. Go get the drop. The last thing I'm really thinking about is a seminar. Because I might have, 200 people or 300 people that come to a seminar. But how many people just saw the drop that we dropped 2 days ago? Hopefully people gravitate to the radio program once we get that going in a couple weeks. Very excited. And that's what we're doing. But look, this is for the few. I ain't going for numbers. I'm trying to get at least 25 people that didn't have the drop, that when this is all said and done, are still rocking at 432 to drop when I'm off of YouTube, when I'm not on Facebook, I'm not on Instagram, I'm not on Twitter, none of that stuff. I'm just at 432 for that particular time period. And if I got 25 people that just checking in, like, yo, drop, you good? And I'm just writing in the chat box. Yeah, man, what's poppin', man? Check out this new song, man, or check out this book. Let us find the truth. We all kicking it. Lex Will, Smiles, Hallway, Higher Mark, Smooth Perspective, you know what I'm saying? Thompson, Warrior, everybody, man. Everybody kicking it, man. Scattered, Yasharal Views, man. Great King. Shout out to him. We gonna get, man, to dropping a lot of people just dropping beautiful drop right now. And it's dope. Jay Stewart, you already know, dropping it on me. Clarence Washington III, you already know, you dropping it on me. Woo! Woo! Let's get to the drop. I get too excited. Where's the drop? Where's the baby? Pause it. Read it. This is coming from New York Times, published October 28th, 1886. Copyright New York Times. You see it right there, right? New York Times. Now read it. I know it's kind of, I'll read it to you, but do your best. Again, this is page 57. And just look at the sign to your best ability. I know it's hard to read. Okay. The Department of War was changed to the Department of Interior. Here's an example being referred to as Negro. Of course, we know Indian and Negro are interchangeable. Negro is Indian. When they say Indians are copper color, they're saying the Negro's copper color. That's just one of your phenotypes. All right, Indian and Negro. So they're talking to both the Indian and the Negro, which is an entendre. It's a conundrum. It's the same people. Sometimes when they want to kind of give you some of your rights, they call you Indian. When they don't give a shit and they just want to lump you with anybody that might have a melanin anything, then that's a Negro. So Indian and Negro, from the Macomb GA Telegraph, October 22nd. Here's in the Telegraph, published October 28th, 1886, in the New York Times. Indian and Negro. Maybe Montana, y'all. All right. It is a travesty upon civilization that the United States has tortured into ruin the fine race that inherited the soil, and has adopted a horde of African savages to educate, ride with in the cars, sit with in the theaters, and eat with white folks at the hotels. The Indian who fails to be born a Negro hereafter makes the mistake of his life. Do you see what they just said? Who got it? I'm going to read it 3 times total, so I got 2 more times. Let's see if you get it in the second time. Indian and Negro. It is a travesty upon civilization that the United States has tortured into ruin the fine race that inherited the soil. The fine race, copper color race that inherited the soil, and has adopted a horde of African savages to educate. I'll just keep going. Ride with in the car, sit with in the theaters, and eat with white folks at the hotels. The Indian who fails to be born a Negro hereafter, after this, makes the mistake of his life. It's going to cost him his life. You're going to die. The Indian who fails to be born a Negro hereafter is going to die. The Indian who fails to be born a Negro hereafter is going to die. The Indian who fails to be born a Negro hereafter makes the mistake of his life. So if you fail to give up your title, if you fail to be classified as a Negro or Black or African American, that's a mistake of your life. Last time, Indian and Negro. New York Times, October 28, 1886. Again, this is published 1874, 1876. Put it together. That's when it happened, man. That's when they took your titles. This is the evidence. This is substantiating evidence in this book. Took the babies out the bathwater. Took this book, The Copper Color Races, It's absurd to be an Israelite, but they got no traces of your migration or no dates to give you. But it's absurd. It's unthinkable. It's inappropriate to be called an Israelite. How dare you? It's inappropriate to have a notion of that. Where did you come from? I don't know. When? I don't know. How? I don't know. Am I Israelite? That's absurd. I mean, this is what this big book is clearly saying, but at the same time, they got the drop in it. Indian and Negro. What are they clearly saying in the New York Times, October 28th, 1886? It is a travesty upon civilization that the United States has tortured into ruin the fine race that inherited the soil and has adopted a horde of African savages to educate, ride with in the cars, sit with in the theaters, and eat with white folks at the hotels. The Indian who fails to be born a Negro hereafter makes the mistake of his life. So one or two things. Either they are sympathetic in the Telegraph, in the New York Times. Either they're saying, because they got this out of the Macomb Telegraph, you see, October 22nd. So this is when this was actually written, not the October 28th. They reposted it in the New York Times. So it must have got so much heat, you know what I'm saying, in the Macomb Telegraph on October 22nd that they had to republish it in the New York Times. So imagine, this is 1886. My great grandma was born around that time, right? Did she say I came from Africa? No, all I got was all the, whatever it is, Cherokee, this, all the stuff that we hear all our lives that we're, a part of. You know what I mean? My dad, his dad, did any of them tell me that? No. Where am I getting it from? School. Where did I get the ball earth from? School. What is a public school? Go to Tyrone Street. He's going to show you what public school really means. You know what I'm saying? And we don't like that restraint. We don't get taught like that, but they put their missionaries in on us, and that put their religion in on us. They put the hijack in by getting into the inception of young minds, because they knew the old minds they couldn't break, so they slaughtered them. We are the children. We are the children, remnant of the children that were inceptioned. But we were also, preserved, right? The remnant was preserved, as promised. It is a travesty upon civilization that the United States has tortured into ruin the fine race that inherited the soil. Who's that? You. And has adopted a horde of African savages to educate. So we can say that they tortured into ruin the Indian and then adopted these Africans that they were bringing over there. When you read the book African and Native American, red people, black people, it talks about all the voyages that was carrying, us away, and then how when they came, they also had some Africans with them, right? So they were they were switching the dark people around. They were bringing hordes of Africans, right, here, but then killing off us. But yet Harriet Tubman, who was from here, was trying to free them and us that were in captivity because she was from here. But we were now being put in slavery with other dark people from everywhere. Again, it is a travesty upon civilization that the United States has tortured into ruin you, the fine race that inherited the soil, and has adopted a horde of African savages to educate, ride with in the cars, sit with in theaters. So they were, taking these hordes of, what they're calling savages from Africa. That's the only time they refer to African is these savages that they've adopted, right? Or they're saying that they turned us into that title. But then at the very end, it says at the very end, the Indian who fails to be born a Negro hereafter makes the mistake of his life. The Indian who fails to be born a Negro hereafter makes the mistake of his life. The Indian who fails to be born a Negro hereafter makes the mistake of his life. What does that mean? Lynching, killing, you an Indian. I mean, you a Negro. You a nigger. You something else. You a byword. You ain't got no title. You ain't got no rights. That means you a slave. If you black, there's no country called black or land called black. You a slave. If you African American, there's no country called African American. You a slave because you're not American, right? Or are you? Well, according to your definition of American, right? 1828. Webster Dictionary, American. You type it in, you go there. I'll pull it up one good time for you. Cause I know I got a lot of links. I'm going to organize them. Don't worry. I know it's a lot. I just want to have them there, then I'll organize them. All right? At least they're there. Like, you know, if you go through the trouble, you'll find what you're looking for. But I get it. Everybody want it easy, so I'll organize it. Here's what you get. 1828. This is the 1800s. 1874, 1886, 18. So let's keep it in the 18s when the real hijack happened. This is when our people really lost their heritage. Recently, in the 1800s. This is when their minds got taken, right? And when they looked up the etymology, when they looked up what American is, this is what you get. This is what they had to put down on them. This is the American Dictionary of English Language. Alright? You type in up there on top, Webster's Dictionary, 1828. Anybody can get it. Let's read it. American, pertaining to America. Noun, a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals. Then you just see the Aboriginal maps. Everything Aboriginal, copper-colored race. A native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races, found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America that want to take the titles of the Aboriginal people. Because if you take our title, you take our land, you take our wealth, our gold, our heritage. What happens to a people when you remove them from their habitat? They go shit fuck. And then you put laws on them and say, I know you guys have gone shit fuck because we've taken all of your resources. We've taken your name. We've taken your title. You can't call yourself Negro no more, right? Or Indian no more. You can't even call yourself indigenous no more. But let you dare try to call yourself an Indian. Let you dare try to call yourself an Indian. We're going to have to put it out there. We're going to put it out there in the Telegraph and in the New York Post, New York Times. You know what I mean? And say the Indian who fails to be born a Negro hereafter makes the mistake of his life. You must convert or die. Take this idol. Take this cross. Take whatever I'm giving you. Convert or die. A native of America, American, originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans. Now applied to the descendants of Europeans. Now American is applied to the descendants of Europeans. No longer is it applied to the copper-colored races because you're enslaved. Descendants of Europeans born in America. And then it says, oh, a quote from Washington. The name American must always exalt the pride of patriotism. The name American must always exalt the pride of patriotism. What's a patriot? I mean, you're being what? Patriotic about a land that's not yours. I mean, isn't that kind of like living in an illusion? Independence Day. Let's celebrate America's independence, but you're not American unless you are a copper-colored race originally applied to the Aboriginals. Oh, I get it. Founding, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. You're the hijack. So the hijack's going to celebrate National Hijack Day. 4th of July, Independence Day is National Hijack Day. That's when the hijacks come out and celebrate, just like Columbus Day. They can't say, screw Columbus Day, because without Columbus, they wouldn't be here. So they still praise Columbus, but didn't say he's a savage. But Lucky Stone's Columbus, my European butt wouldn't be here unless we dig deeper and realize they're not even European. Their titles have just been hijacks for a long time. So what are you hiding when you take people's titles? See, we don't take people's titles. We get our titles snatched. But when you're going around taking titles and then saying, nope, I'm an American. Nope, European. They're European. I was born here. That's our rules, so I'm American. Finders keepers. Is that fucked up or what? And if you're a part of this fucked up system and you know it's fucked up, act. Do something. Pray about it. Connect to the Creator and say, I want to be here for your people, the copper-colored races, that we found here and destroyed. Because we know you're their God. We know all their books and all of Egypt, all our captivity. Jerusalem, Jerusalem is here. Their holy city is here. Columbus said, I'm going to seize their holy city and recapture Mount Zion, Peru, Mexico. Moshe is here. You got to be sick to your stomach when you understand what has been done just for you to walk around feeling white and bright, being ritzy in Beverly Hills or spending these dollars with pyramids on the back. It got to make you sick when you understand the bloodshed for you to have your privilege, even though you didn't do it, I didn't do it, my daddy didn't do it, but the privilege that's come from death. Only with death do you have the honor of using your black card in the fancy restaurant, right? Black card and doing this, or the honor of driving your Benz and, you know, stunting on people and calling them lazy. Pick yourselves up, forget about it, move on. Everybody has been enslaved. Has everybody been slaughtered like this? Hijacked like this? Are you going around calling yourselves everybody, or are you calling yourselves American? Who are Americans? Independence Day. American, a native of America, originally applied to the aboriginal, the indigenous ones, in case we are confused, or copper-colored races. Copper color. Find an old 1800s penny. Just Google 1800s penny. That's copper. This is written 1828. That is their perspective of copper. Copper-colored races found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born here. Which, if you take a Chinaman outside of China, he's born in Kazakhstan. He's still Chinese, living in Kazakhstan. In his mind, right? Because you're born somewhere else, you still got little China over here. You got little. I'm in LA. We got little everything. Little Bangladesh. They didn't come over here and say they American. They said, I'm from Bangladesh. I would like to set up my hood, little Bangladesh, and represent Bangladesh. And then everyone cuts them in on a deal for our land, and it's all good to everybody. It's all good. Long the Negroes in the ghetto got nothing. No hope. Everyone just stepping on us. It's going to be hard to step on us real soon. It's going to be hard. So look, we dropped a couple things. Didn't mean to do a part 2. Sorry my phone cut off. Lastly, but definitely not leastly, let's just drop a couple of dope comments for our July roll call. Let's make it a beautiful one. Let me get a little shit. Pow, pow, pow. Oh, man. All right, Cherokee Outlaw. Just dropped something, man. Ha ha, funny as crap. Those glasses. Everybody like those specs. So they're in the house. Check them out at Sears. I don't know if they got this in every Sears, whatever case. I might pick up a gang of them and just put them in our drop shop. We're going to set up a drop shop, on the site where you can go get some stuff that got the drop, especially our gear, our shirts. I just put an order in for the new Drop Nation shirts with the logo. On the back of it, it says, if they can't tell you who you are, how can they tell you who you're not? And then it says hashtag Drop Nation. So, those are going to go out, support it, love it. We're going to give some out in our radio broadcasts and stuff like that. But yeah, she said, love the glasses, nice specs, good info drive. Love to you, Cherokee Outlaw. Let's keep it going. Chris Duncan always shows love, the best at the drop. Thanks, fam. Nah, man, we the best. We the best. This drop I'm dropping is a product of other drop. All right? Me activating is a product of other drop, right? So, we the best. But love to you, brother. Let's see. Bam MDT says this Turtle West guy got the drop. Turtle Gang, man. You know what I'm saying? I think it's the same cat, but yeah, we featured him. He's dope. He definitely got the drop. But love to you. Asiatic More One says, can you post the case number of case he submitted? I've seen the case crimes against humanity recorded. Some other case crime stuff, I don't exactly know what you're talking about. I think you're talking about something. Either way, if you could find it and post it, that's dope. But thanks for you know what I'm saying, surfing the wave, man. You know, this is a wave, this is a vibration. I can't do a bunch of homework. I know you're not really asking that, but you know, I don't, you know what I'm saying. Love to you, man. KW, she said, dang, they ripped out all the pictures. Yeah, man, they've been ripped out a lot of these pictures in this book. You know, we got maps with no pictures, but they're talking about copper color races, and they don't know who you are, but they're gonna tell you who you're not. It's absurd, man. I gotta get this one more time. One more time, because it's so funny. So funny. You gotta just enjoy it. He said, look, man, look. The origin of these North American Indians is involved in complete obscurity. That they are one of the older races of mankind cannot be doubted. But at what date or by what route they came to the Western continent is an unsolved problem. Many theories have been proposed to account for the red man's ruddy presence in the New World, but most of them have been vague and unsatisfactory. The notion that the Indians are the descendants of the Israelites is absurd. He just went 5 sentences telling you that it's completely obscure. This is an unsolved problem, that you are definitely one of the oldest race, and many theories have been proposed, but they are vague and unsatisfactory. But here's what he knows, is that even the thought, even the notion that you're Israelites is crazy. Because they can't tell their Christian buddies coming here to take your land that they slaughtered Israel. When Israel's in your scripture and the remix that King James is given in 1611 to control them, they can't say all these people you read about in the Torah we slaughtered when we found their descendants here. You're good Christians. Now you got Christians talking about we're so peaceful. You understand what was done with this hijack? It wasn't hijacked and then done. It was created as a hijack. That's why there's no recordation of it here before they came with their ships. And you were found here as the copper color race is found here by those that are calling themselves European. And if they found you here, and if the New Testament was written while you were enslaved, research it. The Piso family, research this, Josephus. Research this, Paul, Josephus. Research these Arius pieces, Piso. Research the Pisos. Research what happened when you were a slave. Research this Jesus that came, bounced, and left you in captivity. When every Mashiach in your Torah saved you and literally brought his people to freedom. But we'd rather worship a hijack over our Creator and say, Jesus, come. The Creator's like, what? Did Jesus create you? Christians say, yeah, Jesus created me. He's always been. He's the only God. You understand? You're worshiping an idol. An idol that was brought here to your land. It's what they use. That's not a Christian cross. It's a Babylon cross. It's a crossing. It's celestial stuff. It's celestial stuff. This cross is celestial stuff. Oh, it got a circle on it. That's not the Christian cross. Or is this highly scientific version of the Christian cross? Alright. So, it's absurd, right? Alright. That's what I was trying to bring out. Let's get back to it. So, yeah, KW, man, my beautiful sister, yeah, they ripped my pages out, but we got the drop, right? We got the drop. Jason Stewart has been dropping up links, and I just emailed him today. I said, look, man, you got so many links. You just got to drop this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I can't keep up with all these leaks. I don't know who can. I appreciate them, but you got to drop them so the recordation is there. For anyone that got a lot of drop, man, you don't got to show your face if you don't want to. You ain't got whatever, but just drop it. Because if you want somebody else to drop it, when we got our own, like, we reading. You know what I'm saying? We're reading. We can't take hour breaks to watch links all the time. You know, it's like, you got to drop it. That's your responsibility. So I don't mind dropping some of this. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not going to drop 100%. You know, but the others that I can't get to, or Lex or Hiram, you know, Let Us Find the Truth, can't get to, you got to drop it. So we got a lot of new cats dropping it, man. Arthur Scott Jr., I called him Arthur Clark before. I apologize, kid. Arthur Scott is a soldier, a warrior, man, for truth. Check out Arthur Scott Jr. He always comes in, man. He says the most simple, beautiful, energetic lines. He says, I can dig it. he saw the the Exodus chapter 3 drop. He just said, I can dig it, man. God, that's beautiful. See how pure water that is? See how pure water? Now, he could have disagreed about 3%, but he said, you know what? I could dig on it, though. Cool, man. You got some jewels, man. Beautiful, man. That's beautiful. Hallway CH. Is a beautiful, beautiful brother, man. He always drops beautiful links and always has a great perspective. Subscribe to Hallway CH. Man, he says, besides the entire spouse thing, which there isn't really solid proof for, this sounds like our creator, although they never mention him actually being our creator. You know what I'm saying? So y'all check that drop out, but this is all about the Exodus drop. You put it in context. But the king is always, giving great perspective to whatever we're doing. And for the most part, I tend to agree with pretty much where a lot of us, we're just, it's hard to disagree with each other because we're all coming out with a lot of the same vibration right now. The beautiful sister Ine D. Some of these names, it's hard. I'm not the best reader in the world, I'm just gonna call you Ine D. Last name is Latsir C with a capital C. It's very creative. I don't comprehend. I don't compute. But Ine, sister, you are. She said King James wrote another Bible 14 years before the 1611. He wrote the Bible of Demonology in 1597. Now, some people have been digging that up, and I can't confirm or deny all that. But hey, yeah, this is clearly a hijack. So is he into more hijacks? Sure thing. Can't deny he's into more hijacks. Lovely Manna, shout out to Lovely Manna. Hit me up. You emailed me for the interview. Sorry, I'm just checking my emails. Like yesterday, I got like emails weeks ago at music at 432. I'll try to check it more often, y'all. But definitely, I have no issue doing that phone interview, whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. So let me know, and I'll just talk if you like me to talk to you and your peoples. Nicole Johnson, beautiful sister. She just has beautiful stories and energy. She says, I remember when my brother, sister, and I used to put our hands to our mouths and dance around saying, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, as if we were Indians. Who knew we really were? That's the thing, right? Because they were coming over here copying our style, emulating us, dancing around in the cartoons, and we're like, who are these people? And it's like, they're you. They're you. Yeah. So peace to the sister. She said a lot more, but I love you and I appreciate that drop. I love all y'all, man. This is real talk. Willie Woodard Jr. says, very great, brother. Speak that truth. Thank you, King. Lord of the Universe 13. You know what I'm saying? One of my goons, man. He said, simplicity, haha, drop. All praises to the Most High. That's all it is, man. Stally Bay, excellent jewel. Love to your sister. Thanks for surfing this wave. Man, Mr. Jones, dropping great knowledge, my brother, and peace be unto you. All right, and then he drops some, drop about Asir the Duke of Tyree's channel. Y'all check it out. Sunday class, he does some stuff, and this brother is dropping knowledge bombs all day. So cool. A lot of people put me into, more drop, and it's all perspective. You know what I'm saying? So hey, all good, man. I appreciate it. My truth Spark Man, that's my dude Spark Man. He said, snap, the frequency is smoking, man. I dropped that. I know it's not even mastered. I mean, I just put it together and dropped it, but I'll master it and make it like really hit hard and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I put just a little tidbit of the frequency anthem. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you do. I just wanted to kind of give people a feel of, just the fun that we're having and what we're putting into the classroom. So he saw some of that, download it right. You could go to the site. As soon as you go to the site, I'll show you right quick. All right, you go to the site. Ooh, you already know how we do. 432 to drop. You get some of the latest drop. You got the Exodus drop happening. All right, you got this is the exclusive with the stunner shades at night. Y'all check it out, man. Great drop right here. Benny Boone doing the director stuff. I just try to keep it fan friendly. Health drop. This Ebo sister's dropping some skin tips for the sisters. You know what I'm saying? Hey. Film drop, man. Tyrone Street, you already know. Check it out real quick. Roots trailer. Real spill, Dick Gregory. You can't get any more real than Dick Gregory, man. America is my mama. Just keeping it so real on y'all. Book drop. This is what we dropped. 1603 Voyage of King James. The colonized, copper-colored races. It's all in the book. It's all in the book. Seed Drive, Document Discoveries. You know, King's Elect's will, man, for letting us all, you know, vibrate to that. Scatter Yasharal views and analysis, dumb diversions. A lot of these kings and queens, these sisters and brothers, been dropping this great drop at the same time, which is dope. All on your head bone. Let us find the truth. Always got the job. Breaking the Tower of Babel and building the Tower of Truth. That's just some of the drop right now on the homepage. Of course, you got a lot of drop here in the categories to your right, I believe. Right there, all that is drop. So you scroll down those categories. Just keep looking at the categories. It's nothing but drop. You choose your drop. What do you want to drop? You just keep it right for you. Keep it tight. Keep it right. All right. And you just look at the categories and let me know what you like. All right. So we're almost out of here. And at the very top of that drop, you know, you can download that the Frequency Anthem, man. It's like a 6-minute energy tune-up. It's a lot of fun. My kids, every time we take walks, I gotta have my phone in the back pocket to say, man, we need our theme music, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's our theme music when we take our walks. You can play it from right there. And you can download it right there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes you do. Yes you do. Yes you do. Alright. You can download it. Enjoy it. And the kids dancing in classrooms. It's all in 4-3-2. So I said, let me put together a nice little instrumental for the children on the playgrounds, you know, in recess. But honestly, I just put it in whenever I just kind of want a little boost, man. It's all that beautiful frequency above the firmament, and it's a good little dance track for those that like working out and doing their thing, right? Which it should be everybody. Everybody should get tuned up physically, spiritually, you know what I mean, mentally, everything. Everything's an energy tune-up. All right, and a couple more drops, man, from the people. Let's go. Gotta get some energy to all right. Lazane Hayes. This is giving me goosebumps, bro. This song, hey, you know, we're playing that hey, you know, all that background music. But yeah, man, the frequency does vibrate through you. Music is supposed to be felt, not just heard. A lot of times we hear it on the radio. I like the sound. You don't feel it anymore because it's not tuned to you anymore. All music coming out your radio, your MP3s, anything coming off your TV, everything is tuned to one frequency. Now when you understand the hijack in the 1800s, you tell me you trust these people with your vibration? Or is it a slave vibration? Is there a core, you know what I'm saying, correlating, you know what I'm saying, you know, progression between these kings, this king's chamber and the pyramid of Giza that's being tuned? And you know, you can go click on that research underneath there showing how, you know, these people are getting the actual vibration from the pyramid of Giza, and the king's chamber is actually tuned to 440 hertz. So you see how many of their pyramids are tuned to 440 and why they're using the same 440 frequency right now on your radio and all your MP3s, your CDs. You love all this music, but you've never heard it in the frequency of nature. So yeah, again, shout out to Smiles. You know what I'm saying? I just emailed you back so we can start getting more songs and everything in our vibe suites and creating beautiful vibration suites that's kind of like a Pandora. It's 24 hours, 24/7. If you feel you want a jazzy vibe, you want a mahogany vibe, you want a mimosa vibe, then you click on that. You know what I'm saying? You want to, you know what I'm saying, just cool one. Then you can get some conscious hip hop. That's coming out soon. We're going to drop that sweet. Right now we got the basement. You know what I'm saying? We got, love songs called Lovers Rock. You just want love songs. You click on Lovers Rock right now. That's your vibe. That's your vibration. So these are vibe suites. And, you know what I'm saying? We got people now helping to tune this music for you. You know what I'm saying? And, none of us, look, we're just doing this. You know what I'm saying? And we know that our community is going to support it. Our community is going to support, vibrational awareness, being put back in that vibration. Our vision, is to be able to come at you with as much products as possible to tune, everything, to tune your lifestyle into 432, right? So that's what we're doing behind the scenes. At the same time, the most important thing is our exodus. The most important things beyond, if we don't have time to tune everybody above the firmament, then we need to go to the wilderness. We need to be healed. And that has to happen before these tanks finally say, all right, we're going to show you why we're here. You know what I'm saying? And they will show you why they're here. Francisco, love you, King. Support Francisco's, YouTube channel. Francisco always gives the drop. The King says, no doubt Western Hemisphere is older than the East and the people more ancient, as the Americas were the first to spring out of the primordial waters. And that is the person that sent me the drop. So thank you. So glad I got that. Francisco's the one that gave me that drop. That is just a PDF of this book, but he dropped the actual PDF. And he said, no doubt Western Hemisphere is older than the East and the people more ancient, as the Americas were the first to spring out of the primordial waters. And that's what your geology is showing you. That's what your science is showing you. Your observable, repeatable science. Your pyramids are older here, right? Mounds and all this stuff, right? In the groove, drop it like it's hot. Love you, King. Man. Yeah, man, let's get one more, man, before we out here. Lex Will, of course, man. Say the best, man. He said, I think you dropped a bomb. Kaboom, King. So much love and respect for this brother, who's a gentle warrior. People see him as different things than I do. But in the frequency, you see the truth. He's a gentle warrior. I mean, this guy's a sweetheart. You know what I mean? He's a softie for Heya. He's a softie for the vibration. But oh boy, for static, he ain't nothing to fuck with. For the vibration, he's a softie. We're all so loving and cuddly inside. We're not like some harsh, but it's like, if you're coming with more static, more hijack, then yeah, you're gonna get a different version of me. You're gonna get, you're gonna get the version of Lex Will that he's been showing you. You know what I mean? So, and turned up. I'll just take it right now. And lastly, to Clarence Washington III, he says, "Good afternoon, King. You really need to check this out. It correlates with some of the things that we're talking about, and it's in Georgia. Check out the It's on Google. The It's Say on Google." So I found a link to kind of what Clarence Washington III was talking about, and this is on the site called peopleofonefire.com. The It's Say people, ITSATE in Georgia, right? Georgia. The It's a Mayas at the gate. All right, so we see we're talking about here. All right, here's an illustration of these Itse, these Maya Itse. All right, and again, these aren't teepees, right? So we're giving this teepee stuff, but honestly, we had structures, right? So, man, let's see. It says information from the highly detailed Barnwell map published in 1722 reinforces architectural, genetic, and linguistic evidence that the Itse Chanto Maya traders established towns in mountains, gaps, and river confluences along southern Appalachian Mountains trade routes. This is exactly how the Itza and Chantal, Chontao Mayas established trade supremacy in Mesoamerica. All right, so Let's see what else we got. Now they're going to connect these people to, the Cherokee was originally spoken with very little movement of lips, whereas the Itse Creek, like Maya, was often pronounced with the tip of the tongue or moved of the lips. For example, the Itse Creek word for bear, Nokoshi, became Nakushi in Cherokee, and Nakashi and Nakoshi in English. Cherokees could not pronounce an Itse P sound, so often dropped the P sound altogether from towns with Maya or Inse Creek names. Itsapo became Ekeo. And it got more drop in here. I'm just not really kind of getting into it, but I'm going to leave this link because I know it's a lot of stuff that I'm not, there's a reason why he dropped this, so yeah, it's a reason why he dropped it. So I don't want to do a whole separate drop, but this Itse Maya situation is dope. And I'll let you guys get ahead of me by dropping the link from Clarence Washington III, man. So stay up, suit up, choose up. This has been your July roll call. Sorry for the part 2. That was an accident. Hope you enjoyed the drop from the history of the United States. And definitely pick up Dr. Radine's America book, man. A lot of babies in there again. We just, open it up. You know what I'm saying? We just got to it. We just started to understand what they talking about with the Indian and the Negro. I'll read it one more time. It's a travesty upon civilization that the United States has tortured into ruin the fine race that inherited the soil, and has adopted a horde of African savages to educate, ride with in the cars, sit with in the theaters, and eat with white folks at the hotels. So they adopted other folks that they brought in, and they ruined the people that are indigenous here to the soil. They ruined them. It's a travesty upon civilization that they ruined us. And then they want to adopt other people that will be considered, whatever they're calling, whatever the case is. But instead of the natural people of the soil, we were enslaved, but other people get to be high society. It's a travesty that other people get to come over here and be high society, have their nose up at us, look down at us as gangbangers and just people that got no heart, no gumption, no will. But it's a travesty upon civilization of the United States. This is in the New York Times, man. 1886. It's a travesty upon civilization that the United States has tortured into ruin the fine race that inherited the soil and has adopted a horde of African savages to educate, ride with in cars and sit with in theaters and eat with white folks at hotels. They got to be fancy smancy. But it's a travesty upon civilization, upon creation, upon the Creator, that the United States has tortured into ruin the fine races that inherited the soil. Stay up, suit up, choose up.